Well, it was all described as a massive immersive experience, a great day out for the kids, chocolate fountains, sweetie trails. Just sounded really, really good, and a nice day out for the children and the family. And when we got there, it just, as you can see by the pictures and stuff, it just was not that at all.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa, and today's video is a failed conventions compilation. Some you probably know, others you may have never heard of, so stay tuned. And this is also a mukbang, so go get a snack, and without further ado, let's get into the TikToks.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso.
Okay, here we go.
Have you guys heard about this Wonka experience in Glasgow that went terribly wrong? So apparently all the advertisements were AI generated, and it was supposed to be this big, over-the-top, immersive experience that parents paid around $40 a person for. And it ended up being a nearly empty warehouse with a few props. I mean, nearly empty. Now, there were some paid actors who have since come out and said that their scripts were AI generated that they got the night before, and that their costumes came from Amazon. So there was no chocolate, one bouncy house, and some made-up characters. So this apparently is a character called the Unknown, who was supposedly an evil chocolate maker who was there to steal the chocolate. Ended up looking like something out of an 80s horror film. Then, at the end of this experience, all the kids got was like a quarter cup of lemonade and a few jelly beans. So naturally, children were crying, parents demanded their money back, and it got so bad that they ended up calling the police. Someone posted that this is the advertisement that was on the company's website when you went to buy your ticket. Look at the spelling here. And they advertised this as the Imagination Station.
Today is the 2-year anniversary of the Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow, and I have been fundamentally changed ever since this moment hit the internet. I actually feel like I've lived 17 lives since then, so I can't believe it's been only 2 years. But if you're somehow unfamiliar, this event company advertised this Willy Wonka experience in a warehouse using AI photos. Everyone bought tickets and thought it would be amazing. They got there, and these kids were in hell. They got scared by the unknown. The Oompa Loompa looked like she was working in a meth lab. The props were like off of Temu. And it just absolutely blew up. Like, the Oompa Loompa started to get interviewed. The Unknown was like an 18-year-old girl who posted a tell-all on TikTok. The kids were only served jelly beans and little cups of lemonade. This guy played Willy Wonka and had to come out and make a statement. The event coordinator who put the whole thing on, I believe, got arrested for swindling all of these people and using false advertising to lure them into this insane experience. At that time, there's also a lot of stuff going on Stan Twitter, so it became just one of the other things that got added to make for the best couple weeks on Twitter that we've really actually ever had. But the way I will never forget this day, it was so hilarious to be on the internet and just see these photos pour in.
I met the Unknown. She was actually cast about an hour before the people were supposed to arrive. Like, she's 16. She was hired illegally, as far as I know, because she was hired to work like the whole 10-hour day. She was originally cast as a Wonka because the idea was that there'd be multiple Wonkas so the organisers could get as many people through as possible. But the script has this character, the Unknown, in it. So we were kind of like, well, who's playing that? We were told again, don't worry about it, we'll figure it out on the day. The day rolled around, and it seemed like most of the worrying was coming from the fellow actors. Like, we were the ones asking the questions of like, this doesn't make sense. How is this gonna work? Just the logistics of things. There's a fight scene supposed to happen at the end between the Unknown and Willy Wonka. Kirsty, her picture has gone kind of viral, like the sad looking Oompa Loompa. But I think everybody's kind of handling it well. At first it was a bit kind of daunting, a bit scary. Now we can kind of see the funny side of it.
And my webcam died, which is why I'm over here now, so hello.
More shocking details emerge about the now viral £35 Willy Wonka immersive experience. Oompa Loompa Kirsty Patterson was forced to wear a pound shop costume and handed an AI-generated gibberish script. She was left angry and embarrassed.
Well, it was all described as a massive immersive experience, a great day out for the kids, chocolate fountains, sweetie trails. Just sounded really, really good, and a nice day out for the children and the family. And when we got there, it just, as you can see by the pictures and stuff, it just was not that at all. There were just 4 or 5 props, 2 jelly beans for the kids, half a cup of lemonade. Just was not what was promised whatsoever.
Was there any chocolate?
No, that was the worst part about it.
I have all new details about that viral Willy Wonka experience in Scotland, especially on the mastermind behind it, and it is way crazier than you thought. I'm sure you've all seen the story by now. People paid $45 for an immersive Willy Wonka's experience, and when they got there, it was just an empty warehouse and a handful of props and the world's saddest Oompa Loompa. Kids were literally crying, and parents got so mad they actually called the cops on the place. It was put on by this company called House of Illuminati, which is really just one guy named Billy Cole, and he is something. He used ChatGPT to generate everything, which appears to be his MO, because he wrote and published 17 novels on Amazon in 1 year, and they are all AI generated. He calls himself an enigmatic wordsmith and a rising star in the literary world, a blurb which was also written by AI, presumably. The night before they opened, he gave the actors a giant 15-page script that was written by machine and told them to learn it, but none of it made sense with any of the props and sets they had. Like the Twilight Tunnel, this is what the guests were expecting and what the actors were anticipating interacting with, and it was meant to be this portal filled with twinkling lights that was going to transport you to the chocolate dimension, but instead it was just these black curtains on either side with these checkerboard posters on it and mirrors. Like, what is that supposed to be? Here's some of the lines from it. There is a man who lives here. His name is not known, so we call him the Unknown. The Unknown is an evil chocolate maker who lives in the walls. Yeah, look at that guy with the silver mask. That is the Unknown. That is nightmare fuel. Parents paid $45 for this image to be burned in their children's brains for the rest of their lives. And this is the guy who played Willy Wonka. Sorry, just Willy. They weren't allowed to use the name Wonka. He's certainly an interesting casting choice from the Timothée Chalamet and Johnny Depp images that we're used to. At one point in the script, Willy was supposed to suck up the Unknown with a giant vacuum cleaner, but they didn't have anything like that, so they were told by Billy Cole to just improvise. Improvise what? You gotta give us some guidance and some props to make it work. So instead, after like the first group of guests went through, the actors threw the whole script out and just started interacting with the people. Like, hello kids, I'm Willy Wonka. Let's look at this thing over here, I guess. And the sad Oompa Loompa, her name is Kirsty Patterson. And she says they were supposed to have this jelly bean room full of jelly beans, but they only had a handful of jelly beans. They had to ration them. She was giving out 3 jelly beans per kid. Look. There she is counting them. I'm so sad. I feel so bad for all of the actors in this. The actors did their best for like 3 to 4 hours and then threw their hands up and sided with the parents demanding refunds. And here's footage of the parents laying into Billy Cole here with his bodyguards keeping him safe. I just love the way Scottish people do this. Just listen.
So it's a scam. You've scammed children.
But this whole thing is a lesson that AI needs to be regulated ASAP, because people are going to keep doing this. And I know there's going to be more about this Billy Cole guy coming soon, and I bet there's going to be criminal charges coming his way. So I will stay on top of that story, and I will bring you any updates as they happen. Stay tuned.
Write me a comment. What do you think of the Willy Wonka experience?
I'm not one to complain, and usually I just suck it up. But at this Barbie Dream Fest, it said it opened at 9. We weren't let in till 9:45, and vendors were still arriving and setting up shop. Once we finally got in, it was very underwhelming. The space was huge, and there was just so much emptiness.
Y'all. What? But let's do it for the kids.
This was their 80s roller skating rink, which was tiny and had no lights. There was no way any adults would have been able to skate in there. This was their Barbie dream house, a cardboard standing box with a VW wagon. It would have been nice, but the doors were closed, so you couldn't even go inside of it. As you can see, everything else was just spread out, open, very empty, very scarce, and it was just fee after fee.
Y'all, we came to this because it was so hyped online. It was, a bunch of vendors. They made it seem like there was so much to do. This is a huge space, okay, at the Broward Convention Center. It is empty. Empty, okay?
Even some of the things, like, you have to pay for everything extra. So we paid for $70 a ticket to get in, $20 to pay for parking, and then on top of that, you're paying for a picture. You're paying for every little thing at every little vendor. Come on now. Like, this is what you get for free. This. To clarify, you are able to roller skate for free. You are able to ride the bikes for free. You can go to the Michaels vendor and you are able to take a picture, they print it for you, and you can decorate your own frame for free. Michaels saved the day for this event because it was not worth what we paid for, and I recommend you do not go.
Barbie Dream Fest. More like a Barbie Nightmare Fest. What is this? As your local Tumblr historian, I fear I need to break this story to you that has been blowing up on Twitter and Reddit this morning. Because as Reddit user Hell Hotel Show has mentioned, they totally got DashCon. Barbie Dream Fest was advertised as a first of its kind Barbie fan convention that was supposed to feature celebrity guests, interactive exhibits, and photo ops. And honestly, their website looked very legit and the celebrity guest lineup looked promising, inspiring guests to talk to fans of Barbie. That makes sense. Yeah, Barbie Dreamhouse photo op sounds fun. Explore a larger-than-life version of Barbie's front yard. I have not seen literally anybody post in front of Barbie's dream house yet. I just keep seeing what looks like Barbie's picnic patch. Maybe where's the dream house? That's okay. Maybe they can have fun at the 80s disco roller rink. That's... Oh, okay. You know what? Since you're not gonna get all sweaty roller skating, maybe the glam bar could be fun. The glam bar. How we getting glam here, guys? I don't think the fashion show has happened yet, but I'm starting to doubt that anything about this runway will be high energy. No, Mattel themselves was not putting this on. This company, Mischief Management, licensed out Barbie from Mattel to be able to throw this fan fest. The sponsors and partners that they were able to get as well are all very established companies like Michaels, Dillard's, Unique Vintage. On one hand, I have to give credit where credit is due. These pieces individually do all look very nice. Problem is that this type of a space works really well for like the artist's alley at a giant comic book or anime convention, but it definitely does not translate into dreamy enough for Barbie's Dream Fest. When you're putting on something like this, you've got to think about how all of your individual pieces are going to look in the bigger picture of your venue, of your event space, and they didn't seem to do that here. And those types of details matter, especially when this is how much you are charging for admission to your event for the weekend. If you want to charge $250 and $450 for the VIP passes, you need to provide a VIP experience. And through a Barbie lens, this doesn't look VIP. Who knows, maybe Barbie the movie live in concert will end up being so fun it saves the weekend. Or the people who paid almost $50 extra to be able to see it. And this is still a developing story, so as the weekend continues to go on, I'm sure we will get more glimpses into what is happening. If you are at Barbie Dream Fest and are disappointed, I hope you find a way to make the most of it and have a fun time. And if you're one of the people who is running Barbie Dream Fest, I know a great way that you might be able to fix this.
Okay, write me a comment. What is the worst convention you have ever been to?
I literally just walked in. I don't know what I'm... There's little girls on bicycles. Children, many things for children. I am not a child. I've stumbled on glitter sun care, very important for us South Floridians. I'm missing a hand.
The inflatable bead is deflating. There's no music again at the roller disco.
It was just so much emptiness.
With a price tag as high as $449, scores of fans took to social media to complain the Barbie Fest dream didn't match reality.
It said it opened at 9. We weren't let in till 9:45.
The interactive Barbie Dream House was a VW bus that you were not allowed to enter into. And it was a, I would say, cardboard cutout box of a Barbie house.
Alexandria Dugan was hoping for a once-in-a-lifetime experience with her almost 7-year-old niece.
It is Barbie, reputable, big brand that everyone trusts. I feel like that was just
really heartbreaking.
Mischief Management, who licenses the Barbie brand from Mattel, saying in a statement, "We will be providing full refunds to everyone who purchased tickets."
Would you spend $450 on this? Well, the organizers for this Barbie Dream Fest event in Florida are issuing refunds after customers complained that the event was lackluster, even comparing it to the viral Willy Wonka-themed experience in Glasgow. The creators of the fan weekend promised 3 days of glam, nostalgia, and dream big energy made for Barbie fans of every generation. But ticket holders, some of whom paid up to $450, say it was far from that. Hell Hotel, a burlesque group who attended the event, told the BBC they were expecting much more based on what was advertised.
Oh no? Yeah, that's how this is going.
There were empty halls, maybe 14 vendors, lack of things to do for all ages, and especially a lack of events for our demographic, the group said. A day pass to the event cost $72 for adults and $33 for children, and as much as $250 for a 3-day pass with a swag bag, comprised of a plastic pouch and Barbie hand sanitizer. Some activities at the event cost extra. Mattel, who owned the Barbie brand, said that full refunds will be given out to everyone who purchased tickets.
Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow doesn't die, it just reinvents itself because the same thing happened at a Barbie convention in Florida today. It was called Barbie Dream Fest. Every single person had to pay $250 for entry. Photo ops were promised with an exact life-size replica of the Dream House. Serena Williams and Angel Reese were promised to be there signing autographs and taking photos all weekend. People got there and it looked like this. I have chills because this is the exact same thing that happened with the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience. Except this may be worse because they didn't promise any celebrities at the Willy Wonka experience. Like Willy Wonka and the Oompa Loompa were not real to begin with, and then they added in that extra character, the unknown. But at this Barbie Dreamhouse thing, there was no celebrities there. It looked horrible. The photo op was this little paper or like cardboard backdrop. There was the balloons at the entryway. This is like so crazy. And I don't know how people keep getting scammed for things like this. It is so insane. They had this race course at the Barbie event that just had cones and a big Barbie logo for people to either like line up in, take photos in, or race through. But seriously, like, this is so funny to me. Like, how do people keep falling for stuff like this? What are your thoughts?
Hi, I'm here for the Barbie Dream Fest. Welcome, this is it. Where are the attractions? These are all the attractions. For like Barbie's dream house. Where is it? See that little house in the corner? That cardboard house? Yes, doesn't it look real? No, they said it was gonna be an interactive Barbie's dream house. You can take pictures and interact there. I was told they were turning this into Barbie Dreamland, like the whole thing. Ta-da! Where's the 80s disco roller rink? It's right here. That's the roller rink? Yes! Where's all the pink? Look at all those pink balloons in the back. This doesn't look like Barbie Land in the movie. Oh, sweetie, that's the movie. It's not real. This is it. I brought my nieces here. They would love to ride the Barbie bikes over there. Listen, the tickets were hundreds of dollars. Their Barbie toy houses are better than this. I doubt that. This is an actual interactive experience. This is as close as you can get to Barbie World. This looks cheap and tacky. Excuse me? You heard me. We worked really hard to turn this space into Barbie Dream Fest. Looks like a backroom fest. What? We want our money back. My niece's 4th birthday party looked more like a Barbie land than this. I can't give you a refund. You're already here. You saw it. You got the experience. What experience? This is nothing. This is an empty room with a few fake balloons. You can't judge it from a distance. You have to go through every table to actually get the experience. This is so bad. Let's go, guys.
Where it went wrong was the lack of structure, and just for the amount that people paid to be there, trash. The DJ was mediocre. There was like no like orchestra, live music, nothing really happening. There was like a random stripper pole in the floor.
You think of antique, you think of gold, you think of accents, you think of florals everywhere, and it was lacking in every way possible.
People say they were met with poor decorations, a lone violinist, a pole dancer, and raw food at this now viral Bridgerton ball in Detroit.
Let's pretend to have a good time because it sucks. And I know that I got completely played.
It was supposed to be inspired by the popular Netflix show, but was not affiliated with the series. Attendees say they paid anywhere between $119 to about $1,000, depending on the ticket. And that's on top of the hundreds they spent on their costumes.
There were so many different flaws with this event. No one checked any bags. No one scanned our tickets. It was a safety hazard, to say the least.
Uncle and Me LLC, the event planning company, has not responded to NBC's request for comment. We also reached out to one of the organizers, Chelsea Beard, and she didn't get back to us. But she did apologize on Instagram, posting, "Our goal was to create a magical evening, but we recognize that the organizational challenges and unforeseen changes impacted the experience for some guests. They say they're working diligently to address all concerns."
We need a full refund. The experience we were promised was not delivered.
Okay, so that was just the first floor, just the VIP section. The rest of the venue was just mediocre. And let me not say that the venue is beautiful. The decorations, the setup, mediocre. Okay, so the second floor was just like photo op areas. Again, you could line up to take pictures with the queen. Like they had a photo booth, but I guess they were also charging additional money for people to do some of these things. Again, decorations were basically mediocre. This random vase in the corner that I guess was supposed to be like a focal point. This was the third floor where the ballroom was. There were vendors up here, which again also made me feel some type of way, but not my circus, not my monkeys. So people were up here, I guess, shopping as well. This was supposed to be like, where the activity was happening. There was supposed to be programming. There was like a random stripper pole in the floor that I guess was supposed to, have a performance. We didn't stay long enough to see that, so I'm not sure if that happened or not. And then for the most part, people were just taking pictures. The DJ was mediocre. There was no orchestra, live music, nothing really happening. And it sucks because people were really dressed. I will give Detroit our props. People were dressed to the T last night. And I mean, everybody was dressed for this event.
Standing in the rain, dressed to the nines.
Honestly, I just want my money back.
Superfans say they didn't get what they thought they were paying for at the Detroit Bridgerton Ball.
The way that it was described is that this was going to be a Bridgerton evening. We were going to have classical music, good dinner, and there was going to be a play, and they were going to pick Diamond of the Season. They were going to give away all of these prizes, and we went in, and it's completely empty in there.
Expecting to be transported into the regal world reminiscent of the hit Netflix show, fans say they were instead in a room with little decor, served undercooked food, and given an exotic dancer as their entertainment.
It was complete chaos today. They never even scanned our tickets. Then there were random people that we paid to eat dinner, and they had random people all throughout the venue.
The frustration still sitting with Bridgerton fans today who sent us email after email after email.
It was really disappointing. And also, I think we were all really angry about it because we had built up these expectations and the tickets were not cheap.
Cameron Morey says after the event had to be rescheduled from its original date last month, she and her friends were excited to get dressed up Sunday night.
I definitely think that the people in this company were just in it to make money and try to maybe copycat off a successful event, but they had absolutely either no idea what they were doing or they just didn't care and had no problem just taking people's money.
The company behind the event, Uncle and Me LLC, has since disabled comments on their social media. I showed up to the venue to see if anyone might be there cleaning up, but no luck. We also went to an address listed for one of the business's co-owners.
This is Whitney Burney calling from Channel 7 here in Detroit.
And placed multiple calls, leaving voicemails and text messages, but no response. Bridgerton fans say the event company needs to do the right thing.
I think we should absolutely get refunds, and honestly, I want to see this company never doing business again.
We do want to make it clear that the owners here at the Historic Harmony Club are in no way affiliated with the event planner. They say they do provide some back-of-house services, but the event itself is on the promoters that rent out the venue. Reporting here in Detroit, Whitney Burney, 7 News Detroit.
These are people literally sitting on the edges of the room on their phones because this is literally how bored they are. Here are even more bored people sitting on their phones. Not to mention all of these people at least paid over $150 for a ticket to come to this Bridgerton ball. Now, this was the Queen. This backdrop is honestly probably the best one that they had there. The best one that they had. And no shade to the Queen, But literally, I couldn't even get my bow in before she was trying to get me to pick up her business card and tell me about her business and how I needed to follow her on Instagram and tag her. Like, here is one of the backdrops. Now, again, doesn't this look like something that your cousin had at her baby shower that she ran real quick to Family Dollar to get? Exactly. Regardless, y'all know what y'all did, and I cannot stress enough that this was a scam. Don't go to another one of their events, especially if they're calling it a Bridgerton ball.
Y'all see that The Cut interviewed the pole dancer that was at the failed Bridgerton ball experience in Detroit? I got wisdom teeth removed yesterday, so it hurts to even smile. And knowing this fact, understanding this pain, I still went to read this article. And you know what? It was worth it. Quick recap for anyone who doesn't know, there was a Bridgerton ball experience in Detroit not too long ago, like a few days ago, and people bought tickets to this thing, and they showed up in costumes, and there was apparently like a best costume contest also, and they showed up to this borderline empty place with Party City decorations, a pole dancer served raw chicken, and had a violinist for the live music, and weird actors who were not fun to engage with at all apparently, and it was essentially like a scam, and people cannot get into any contact with the people who threw the event in the first place. But the pole dancer was like the most bizarre element of the entire thing, because it wasn't even like a woman who was like in any sort of Bridgerton theme. Like, it was just a woman in her underwear pole dancing in the middle of the room, and The Cut interviewed her to get her side of the story. And oh my god, my face, I could not stop laughing reading this interview. This woman to this day is also still so confused on what was going on at that event. Her name is Tink, and she is not only a pole dancer, but is also like a professional aerialist and like circus performer. She does something called the Lyra hoop and hair suspension. She was booked 3 hours before the event took place, and out of all of her services that she provides, all of her forms of entertainment, they chose pole dancing specifically, and she performed like 3 numbers, 2 Bridgerton themed music, and then lastly moves like Jagger to try and make everything more upbeat. When they hired her, they told her the theme was Bridgerton, and she didn't even really know what it was. She says she packed multiple outfits, and they approved the one that she went out in. She said she brought like a Great Gatsby themed one because she'd done Great Gatsby before, and I guess that was like her closest like period outfit. But she has this really funny comment that, oh my god, it hurts so bad. She has this really funny comment where she was like, but I guess the 1920s is different from the 1800s. She also has this one section in the interview that doesn't even really have anything to do with the Bridgerton experience. And she's she's like, I don't typically work locally because, you know, the local spots, they're usually like converted warehouses and car garages, which I desperately need more information on. I can't do this. Her typical performer name is like Tink the Fairy, and the people running the event just told her to do character work with what appears to be no other instruction. So she called herself the Bridgerton Fairy, and she was paid $800 for an hour-long set. She said that most of the people that she engaged with, like a lot of the attendees, were really nice, and the ones that were looking at her weird she avoided, which, like, good for her. Protect your peace, Tink. But oh my god, the fact that she doesn't even know what happened with her being there is so... I have too many thoughts in my head at all times about this woman.
Did y'all hear about what went down at the Bridgerton Ball in Detroit? Oh my god, it is wild. So apparently this company started a Bridgerton Ball that they had rescheduled like 3 days before the original due date. And people paid like between $150 per ticket to like $1,000 to $2,000 for like VIP tickets. Nobody checking the doors to make sure people actually paid to get into the Bridgerton Ball. There's barely any seating. It was only for like the reserved tickets. There's like one violinist who was playing and trying her best to make sure it stayed classical, but everything else was like speakers. They barely had any decorations. There was a pole dancer a pole dancer at a Bridgerton Ball. There's a girl who actually has a video of it. If you type in Detroit Bridgerton Ball, you will actually see her video. It was a Queen Charlotte, and she apparently was not in character at all. She was greeting people as if she was speaking in normal 21st century lingo versus speaking in a British accent. Food that they were serving to these people were undercooked raw chicken and like reused cups.
It was bad. This company is not giving these people back their money. Apparently, the company said they will offer a credit towards the next event. No one wants to go to a new event from you guys. You failed miserably. The Bridgerton fans are not happy, as they should be. They should be demanding their money. Apparently, they have bombarded all the news outlets to talk about this, as they should. As they should. They should get their money back tenfold for wasting their time, because the women, the men, all looked gorgeous. They all stepped up. They all looked fantastic. Oh, that's another thing. Apparently there was a best dress contest, and the prize for being best dressed was like $2,000. The person who won was a gentleman wearing a suit, but cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. That's what won best dressed. Yeah. No, the Bridgerton fans are not happy in Detroit. Everybody that was interviewed by the news outlets basically said it was a terrible event. We want our money back. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of money. We got dressed up for nothing. Don't do it. So yeah, Bridgerton fans in Detroit, get your bag. You deserve your money back because that company wasted your time.
This was a convention so bad that it got banned from every hotel in the area. Before the disaster of Rainforest 2015, the furry convention known as Rainforest had been going on for like 9 years. In those 9 years, Rainforest gained a reputation for being a party convention because the staff didn't have a lot of rules or regulations. Basically, they let a lot of stuff slide. Unlike DashCon, this was actually pretty well organized. The panels were in order and everything. The problem was the guest. Guests broke the elevator door by kicking the buttons. Someone threw a ton of towels in the hot tub and then shoved a towel into the pump so the hot tub stopped working. Also, someone went number 2 in the pool. People were wearing diapers around this con and leaving them on cars and sidewalks, and also using the diapers and just walking around in them. Someone loosened screws on a toilet and it flooded, and it went all the way down into the basement. Rotten food was left out, people were putting stickers everywhere, and there was so much more vandalism. There was also a huge drinking and substance problem at Rainforest. Things were getting sold and distributed, and someone even tampered with a smoke detector in their hotel room so that they would be able to smoke in their room. A few people went to the hospital, and I believe it was around 4 or 5 people that got arrested. Maybe more. After the convention was said and done, it's estimated that Rainforest cost around $150,000 in damages and catastrophes. And Rainforest had the money, they were willing to pay. However, Hilton banned Rainforest from ever having a convention there again. And they went a step further and called all the other hotels and convention centers in the area to warn them about Rainforest. Soon enough, no one in that region wanted anything to do with Rainforest.
So back in 2015, there was a convention called Rainforest 2015. This was a furry convention that was held in the Hilton Airport Hotel in Seattle, Washington. While this seemed like a completely ordinary furry convention, things went south very quickly. There's some things I'm not going to go too into detail about, because I'm not going to get in trouble on this app, but let's just say that it had something to do with diapers. It was bad. Some of the things I will talk about, let's just say that there was a lot of vandalism, there were a lot of safety issues, EMS was involved, police were involved, it was a mess. There were a lot of charges related to drug possession, drug dealing, there were assault charges, and then the vandalism part. So how does the hot tub relate to this? So these grown-ass adults decided to stuff towels and clog the hot tub's jet streams, the drains, so badly clogged. This hot tub exploded and flooded the venue. And you can bet this was hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. Did the hotel ban these people? Oh, you bet they did. But it gets worse. This hotel decided to go the extra step and reach out to other properties and warn them about Rainforest. They had a hard time trying to find a venue, but I think, to my knowledge, there was one venue that accepted them. Other than that, I haven't really heard much else.
Where are we?
We're at Rainforest.
Where are we?
We're at Rainforest.
Yep.
In September 2015, a group of furries came together with a brilliant idea. Rainforest, a convention for and by furries. This is their story.
I'm just bringing out all the dirty laundry here, so you guys are lucky, and I'm probably going to ask you to not post that video, mister.
Rainforest is the reverse of DashCon. Where DashCon was a disaster caused by its organizers, Rainforest was a disaster caused by its attendees.
I am absolutely sure there is no truth to the rumor that Rainforest is under an evil curse. And with that, it is my pleasure to officially declare Rainforest 2015 open.
It all started with a talent contest. That went okay. But as the night went on, some started to get absolutely trashed. A few hours later, the destruction had begun. Somebody had deliberately loosened the bolt on one of these toilets, so that when the next person flushed, water flooded everywhere, 2.5 inches deep. An emergency plumber was quickly on the scene, but the damage was already done. Water had leaked through the floor.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. Have you ever been to like a really bad convention yourself? Let me know. I want to know your stories. And if you want me to do a deep dive on any of the conventions from today's video, let me know. And I will see you guys later. Bye!